Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Friday. We made it to the end of the week, and it is September 24th, 2021. For those of you guys keeping score at home, it is a beautiful day here in Chicago. Absolutely lovely. It is mild temps, really nice and sunny, low humidity, a gentle breeze. You can't really ask for a much better day than today. And it's new merch drop day. The Non-Elite t-shirt went on sale 7 a.m. local time. We picked that time because it'd be a little bit early for the people on the West Coast, but some people are up. And for people that are over in Europe, that's still a time where they're still not gone to bed yet. So hopefully we kind of covered the vast majority of people that would be interested in this shirt. So yeah, I was a little bit late on the launch. The video was like 20 or 30 minutes late. I promised myself that I was going to get it done the night before. I ended up not doing that, but I got it eventually. But so far, the response seems to have been fantastic from you guys. Thank you guys so much. We'll talk more about it. But first, I want to say hi to everyone listening on the podcast, on the audio-only version. Hopefully, you guys have some beautiful weather as well and are having a fantastic run out there heading into the weekend or on the weekend now, depending on when you're listening to this. And then for everyone watching this on YouTube after the fact, hopefully you've got a nice recovery beverage in hand because it is Friday night whenever you're watching this. Maybe it's Saturday morning. Either way, hopefully you're doing all right. All right. Will Gravel is here in the chat, says, yo, finally get back on a live stream. He's got 1L classes and Chicago Marathon training has been tough. That is quite a load. That is a lot. That is a lot, Will. Hopefully you're doing all right. Good news is that, taper's either now or starting for you for the marathon training. So that should make things a little bit easier. Martha says, hey, Will, good to see you. Martha. Spence Ohm says, yo, what's going on? PG says, yo, Kofuzi, happy Friday. Just ordered one of the t-shirts from Path Projects. Awesome, PG. I hope you love it. Garrett Meek says, yo, what's going on? My new ASICS Gel Nimbus Light 2s arrived yesterday while I was at work. Looking forward to trying them out. Awesome. Very cool. That, anytime I think about the ASICS Gel, I can't help but think about Jamie. But did you guys see that Jamie put out a new video today? He's got a brand new intro. The intro is amazing. He happens to be wearing the Kofuzi Path Projects long sleeve collab shirt, which we didn't plan, but ends up being perfect timing. That shirt, by the way, I gave it to him, like personally, I handed it to him when I saw him up in California for Western States. So I gave it to him as a gift. So me seeing that shirt on him, it has like a special meaning for it. So I'm very happy to see him. And the video they put out, I didn't get to finish it because I was just kind of checking YouTube. I was waiting for the live stream to start. And I was like, oh, how did I miss this? I didn't see it earlier. So that's an awesome video. And I can't wait to watch the rest of it. But so far, I've gotten like maybe a third of the way through it. Really, really good. All right. Spence Ohm says, any racing this weekend? Weather in the Midwest is perfect for it. Yeah, you know what? Like, I wish it weren't because I feel like we're using up all our good weather days. We're getting very close to being able to see what the weather's going to be like for Chicago, and I'm not sure what we're going to get. The Midwest has the chance of there's always like a late heat wave. Sometimes it happens late September. Usually it happens sometime in October, where the seasons change really fast in the Midwest. It's not like on the East Coast where it's like gradual temps. You don't even notice. And all of a sudden, oh, look, all the leaves are orange and it's cooler out. Here, it's like summer, hot. And then boom, we got that this week where all of a sudden it's like in the 50s in the morning. But I'm wondering that hot streak that we always get, is that going to happen for Chicago Marathon? I have a feeling that's what's going to happen. I'm still like in the back of my mind, not sure if that's going to happen. But the weather this weekend is going to be awesome. And I am racing. I'm going to be running in the Chicago Half Marathon. And I think I'm going to be doing that one at marathon pace. So it's going to be a workout for me, 13 miles, marathon pace. What that marathon pace is, I'm not sure. I think it's going to depend on what kind of pacing that there is. I know there'll be a 1:30 pace group, which will be a little bit faster than my goal marathon pace. The 1:45 pace group will be a little bit too slow for me, I think. So you know, I don't really want to run that race by myself. I'd rather run in a pack. So like, I guess I'll kind of see. Maybe I'll do like 10 miles, you know, or less with the 130 group. If there were a 135 group, I think that'd be perfect for me. But we'll see. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do, but I'm not going to be running it for a PR. I did that in 2019, and I did that successfully. But then I also had a really bad race at the Chicago Marathon. So trying something different. Martha says, for those of us racing October 11th, 10th or 11th, they're nervously starting to watch the long range forecasts. In 3 days, we can see race day forecast. I know. So that means in 3 days, we could see race day forecast. But that also means for like two weeks, we're going to be fretting every single day. Someone DM'd me on Instagram and was like, what do you think the weather's going to be like? I was like, I think it's going to be hot. Dress for a cold race, but bring your hot weather stuff as well. Because in 2019, it was really cold. Like the night before, I think I caught a cold before the 2019 race because I was out at there was like a Nike pop-up race at Soldier Field, and it was like super windy and super cold, and I didn't have a very thick Nike coat to wear, and I didn't want to wear my bubble coat. Oh, I should have just wore a bubble coat. And I just spent hours like shivering, and I was like, it made me really tired, and I didn't feel great. But I'm going to be avoiding that this year because I don't think there'll be any like Nike events like that this year. So I'm going to be staying warm, even if it's cool. It's like, you know, I'm trying to be a little bit more responsible, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. All right. I'm going to scroll down a little bit just to make sure I catch up with you guys in the chat. Let's see. We got Denny Running with Scissors says, I'm volunteering at the Aid Water Station for a local triathlon tomorrow, hoping the wildfire smoke clears up. It has been brutal this week. Ooh, I kind of forgot that those were still happening. It's crazy. Man, I do hope that things are going to be okay. Stevie76 says, was the Marine Corps Marathon canceled? Was it really? No way. I didn't hear anything about that. All right. Steve says, I'll have to follow up on that. Steve says, yo, what's going on? The Rincon were due on the 28th, but they arrived today. Wow, that's nice. That's way early. He just did a quick 5K blast and likes them. Good. I'm liking the new Rincon. I'm thinking that I might take that. It's either going to be the Rincon or the Endorphin Speed 2 for the half marathon on Sunday. It's a Hoka event. So I'm kind of leaning towards the Rincon, but I just haven't given any attention to the Speed 2. And I feel like that's going to be a really good one to bring. The Chicago Half Marathon course is changed this year. It's very different than it's been for the last, I don't know how many years. So we're going to be spending more time on Lakeshore Drive, which I think is not as nice because there's no shade and the concrete is super, super like stiff, hard, brittle. I don't know what the right word for it. It's not going to be as forgiving as like running on some of the roads that you did normally in the Chicago Half Marathon. So that'll be interesting to see how it goes. But yeah, the Rincons, I'm liking it. I'm liking it quite a bit. All right. Augie Chen 7 says, this is perfect foam rolling entertainment. Awesome. I'm glad that you guys are getting in some of your recovery work while this is going on. Awesome. Eliza says, confirming that the Marine Corps Marathon went virtual. Oh, that's a bummer. Is it for COVID reasons? Is that what happened? It's very disappointing to hear. Eliza says, I just ordered the 2 of the Kofuzi shirts. Can't wait to get them. Awesome. Thanks so much, Eliza. That is great to hear. And I hope you love them because I definitely love mine. Andrew Bostic says, yo, finally could tune in because school is out for county fair. Nice work. How long do you think the Rincon 3 will last? I'm trying to go sub 2 again on Sunday. I think that you're going to get a lot more durability out of them than the version 2. Now, I have not run past 100 miles in any of the Rincon. So I'm not sure what the overall durability is going to be like. I know I would check FOD Runner. He's running the Rincons quite a bit. So he would have some information on the Rincon 2, I'm pretty sure. And then I don't think he's done any longer term reviews of the Rincon 3 yet. I'm not sure he's quite there. So, but that would be someone to check out because he's going to have better information in terms of durability. But I do think with that, the way that they've changed some of the rubber on that, and the way that they've changed a little bit of the midsole compound, I think that it's going to last a lot longer. I don't think that, like, just like people don't worry about like the Cliftons and them like degrading too soon, I don't think that people are really going to worry anymore about the Rincons. So, yeah. All right. Affluent Journeys. AJ says, first run today, the new Mach 4s, 10 miles at 8:56 pace. He's got a little bit of a sunrise, a runner dude, and some speedy wind. Nice. I love the emoji action going on right there. Yeah, let's see what we got here. Where did it go? I just saw something from Jay Preza. He says, just bought the merch. Great stuff right here. Awesome, Jay Preza. Thanks so much for the support. Love it. Hey, Jay Preza had a, what were you guys standing in front of? He had a picture on Instagram today. He was standing in front of a giant statue of some sort. It looked like maybe like a water mythical god of some sort. But for whatever reason, it just reminded me of the end of Planet of the Apes. Like, you fools, it was Earth. Like that kind of thing. That picture was weird. Where was that? I didn't maybe you probably said it in the photo, but I didn't catch it. But you guys got to check that out. Jay Prez is doing some good work on Instagram. You should enjoy it. All right. Alan Journey says today's a Whole Foods buffet day. Do you go to Whole Foods a lot? Because I feel like the last time you mentioned where you were eating Whole Foods as well. Alex Gonzalez Monleon says, are you nervous about Chicago Marathon? I'm not nervous about the Chicago Marathon at all, but the Marine Corps Marathon getting canceled is surprising because of the fact that I think the Marine Corps Marathon, it's the weekend before, right? And that's really late to make a marathon go virtual. So that's something that's very concerning to me. That one's in DC, right? So like, is there something about, is it a security concern? I gotta look into why it went virtual more, but I think that like the wheels are set in motion for the Chicago Marathon, and it's a much bigger ship kind of thing. So you can't turn it around. I think at this point we're full speed ahead. I mean, I suppose for a pandemic, if something really crazy were to happen, you know, they could in theory, but from what it looks like, things are calming down. The mask mandate that we put in place August 20th or so, I think has really been helping quite a bit. Numbers are like, you know, getting better. So I think that we're in pretty good shape. I'm not nervous about the Chicago Marathon now. Some other people who are, you know, like, I don't want to name names because I don't want to be like, well, someone else said, and then, you know, I don't know if they were supposed to really tell me stuff or not, but from my, I'll leave them unnamed sources, or an unnamed source has said, like, you know, things are full steam ahead. They talked to one of the main sponsors, and they were like, yeah, we're going forward. This is all going forward. So, like, I mean, anything can change, but my understanding from some of the sponsors that I've been talking to, or the one sponsor that I've been talking to, yeah, they're ready to go. So, all right. Terry Furlong says, racing this weekend, 10K cross country in the Queen's Garden in Sandringham. I like that you put Sandringham in parentheses as if I would know where that is. That's very flattering. My knowledge of geography is incredibly small. And so to think that you would think that I knew that is great. But, you know, Queen's Garden, that sounds really lovely. Did you guys watch on GTN, the triathlon channel, they had the camera guy do his first sprint triathlon? Did you guys watch that series? I enjoyed that series quite a bit. My favorite part about it is like, yeah, I'm a good swimmer and I do parkour on the weekends. And I was just like, that's like the most millennial thing I've ever heard. But on a side note, but the triathlon that he did, like the location was like at a palace of some sort. Right? It was really pretty. I'm like, I want to race there. I would feel like I'm not allowed to race there. I'm a commoner, right? How did they manage to do that there? And I feel like a triathlon of all things, I don't know how they allowed that, but it was a beautiful backdrop. All right. Martha says, Kofuzi, as far as the COVID trend, the current models predict continued downward curve even through winter up until at least March. Well, that's great to hear. I'm very excited about the prospect of some kids' vaccines happening soon, so I can't wait for that. Yeah, I mean, a big, like, weight will be lifted off my shoulders once I can get my kids in there. Like, I don't know, like, I've never camped out for like an iPhone or anything like that, or like have I waited in line for a new release of a product? I'm trying to think. I may have gotten in like line on like a launch day for an iPhone, but I've never like done something like overnight. But if I could, I would do that with my kids for them to get a vaccine, because I just need them. I want them to be safer, and the quicker they can have it, the quicker they can get their weeks in that they need to for that immunity to build up and that protection to build up, so that they can start doing more things. So I can't wait, and hopefully that's part of what is going to make that continued downward trend. Hope to see it. Ronald Childress says the Air Force Marathon canceled, the Army 10 miler canceled, so I'm sure that's why the Marine Corps was canceled. What's going on? What's going on with that? That is, that's disappointing to hear. Oh boy. And Eliza says it looks like the Milwaukee, is it the Lakefront Marathon? Was canceled. Who was running the Lakefront Marathon? Someone was running the Lakefront Marathon. Was canceled because of permits and inability to get police detail. The Marine Corps Marathon was because they cannot meet safety protocols. Okay. So it's not like conditions are bad, but like they were worried that if they couldn't somehow manage the crowds. I don't know. Oh boy. Well, thanks for the updates, guys. All right. Ed Chan says, stop talking about vaccines. I came here for the air fryer reviews, not the vaccine talk. I did give that air fryer to my nephew. My one nephew, he spends a lot of time playing video games in the basement, and he like rarely comes out. And over the summer when we were at grandma's house, there would be times when like we knew like his mom and dad, his dad would be at work, mom would be at work, and like older brothers and sisters would be out, and we'd be like, oh man, I don't think anyone's gonna be like checking in on him all day today. And so we would go to Dairy Queen and get him food, and basically be like, open the basement door and like throw it down. We didn't throw it down, but basically like just hucking food down there for him, be like, I hope you're all right. And he'd be like, I'm fine. So we did that for him. But I was like, he was very interested in air frying. So I was like, I got one that you can have. I'm not using it right now. Our kitchen is big enough, so I give it to him. So hopefully he's using it. I think he's got a fridge down there, so he can get that. Maybe that fridge has a little freezer section, so he could just like take food from freezer to air fryer, and he will never have to leave the basement. All right. Matt LeGrand says, no joke, I bought the air fryer after that review, and my family uses it all the time. It's good, right? It's more useful than you think, because you're just like, this is just a toaster oven. This can't possibly be that good. But it is better than a toaster oven, I got to tell you. Oh, man. Lars Osterman says, hey, Kofuzi, do stack heights change with increasing shoe size? Meaning, is a stack height in an endorphin speed 7.5 men's the same as stack height on an endorphin speed size 13 men's? They do change as far as I know. I don't think that like every size changes. I'm not sure exactly how it works. Maybe every size changes. I don't know. But like when like, so like, I think for like Eliud Kipchoge's shoe is an 8.5. Like his was exactly 40 millimeters. So like, I don't know what people do. I mean, I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And I'm not exactly sure how the rules work. Like if they measure each shoe, because like what if you have like a size 10, but you're running in like a regular, like if you're running in the Adios Pro 2, right? Like let's say it's a Valencia Marathon situation, but let's say you're really tall and you got a size 13, maybe you're like Andy, FOD runner. The UK size 13, right? So that's what, is that a US 14 or US? I don't know how the sizes work. I think it's a US 14, right? So he's got a big shoe. That one's got to be a lot taller, but I don't know about how much. So yeah, so that's how I understand it. Matt says, we have 3 kids, so air fryer for the win. Nice. I love it. Adam Fear says, first time all week, what'd I miss? What did I miss? I love it. Nice. Good to see you, Adam. Brendan said, I ran in the Primex yesterday, and he says, oh my goodness, that is a fun shoe, and my family finally has a, what is it, SO? So that's over 6 feet when I'm in those shoes. Oh, she has, so the fiance has a significant other that's over 6 feet when I'm in those shoes. Win-win. All right, nice. It works for the both of you guys. Awesome. It is a fun shoe. People like to make fun of it, and I'm just like, try it. It's fun. I mean, you know, if people are making fun of it hard, I'd be like, that's cool. You don't have to run in it. No one's making you, you know. But like, I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. Puts a smile on my face. I do worry about my ankles a little bit, but you know, it's a fun shoe. All right. Mika Kataya says, still getting some rubbing on the ankle with 1080 version 11. 1080 version 10 did the same for the first 50K, and after that, they stretched a bit and were brilliant. I think about similar kilometers on the version 1 and hope it clears. I wonder, can you put like a bandage on the shoe or on your ankle? Like KT makes little like skin, not bandages, but they're like little patches. They make a really good like Achilles one that I've used. For some shoes like the Craft CTM Ultra Carbon, that really dug into the back of my Achilles. Every time I wore it, it would just bleed and like it would cut me up real bad, and like it would take weeks to heal. So like that's so that's something that I would wear like every time I was going to run in it. And I was like, this is kind of ridiculous. I probably shouldn't run in this shoe that much if it's hurting me that bad. So, but that's something that you can look at. Tommy Hackett says, Kofuzi, thanks for the intro to Tommy Runs. Got his chip time running shorts and tank and PR'd a half marathon on Sunday. Awesome. That is great news. Good job, Tommy. Very cool. Very cool. Love to hear that. Love to hear that. Ed Chan says, I recently bought a new pair of Epic React 2s. Really enjoying them. So good. I should get another pair of Epic React 2s and see if they're as good as I remember them to be. Or like, I don't know. I kind of want to leave the memory of them where it is though. But that might be fun. It might be fun to kind of like go back and look at some old shoes. But the hard part is like when they're older, I'm glad you're enjoying yours, but like my concern is like, how were they stored for the last 2 years since that shoe was made? Is that going to matter? I guess with the React foam, I don't know. I think I feel pretty confident. Like you really can't ruin them by storing them incorrectly, even for 2 years. So I don't know. Oh, Stevie76 says the cowbell's coming in weak. All right. Crank it up a little bit. And then we'll do another cowbell. Do another cowbell for Tommy. It's really loud in my headphones. I can turn these down. Hopefully that was a little bit better. All right. Anthony Vu says, do you still feel the same way about the Hyperion Elite 2 since your last video about it? I'm not sure because I don't know when my last video about it was, but I don't think my opinion on it really changed all that much. I like the shoe. It's a carbon-plated version of the Hyperion Tempo. It is, the thing that I was like, I'm a little bit confused about it though, it is a much wider platform than the Hyperion Tempo. And I think that what that does is it kind of like takes a little bit of kind of like the edge off of it, I think, which is good for a lot of people. But for me, it doesn't feel like a carbon-plated Tempo exactly because I think of the width and the way that the shoe kind of feels on landing. But, I mean, it's the shoe that set the 50K women's road record, right? So isn't that what Des Linden did it? Although I think she did it in the Hyperion Elite 3, right? So, but it's a good one. I'll tell you what though, the way that the midsole rubber is on that, it really got chewed up. The foam, because I was running in the dirt roads in Iowa, and there's lots of like rocks and pebbles and stuff, and like gravel that's down, and so it got really chewed up bad to the point where like it chewed out all the way through, and like I could poke and feel like the carbon that was in the shoe. So like I think I'd be interested to see, and I would hope to see that they change a little bit of the outsole pattern for the final production version of version 3. But otherwise, it was a good shoe. Fit great. snappy, got that, nitro foam feel to it, and has a plate. J. Perez says, I got a 50K Ultra coming up. Trail is mostly gravel. You think the Nova Blast 2 will survive? Yeah, I think so. I think it'd be okay. I mean, as long as it's, it depends, not all gravel is the same, right? But as long as it's like really buffed out, like, then I think you'll be okay. If there's like, if the rocks are a little bit bigger, then I think that maybe you might want to go with like a trail type shoe. Like I think a Torrent or an Ultra Superior would be really good. But if it's like really buffed out dirt roads, then I think you'll be good. Definitely. Adam wants to know, is the Hyperion Elite 2 different than the RC2? Oh, it's very different. The Hyperion Elite 2 has a much more firmer feeling foam, kind of like the Hyperion Elite 2. And the RC Elite 2 is really nice. It's kind of like the Rebel 2, but just a lot thicker of a stack height. And it's got a subtle, I'd say a relatively subtle carbon feel to it as well. So, yeah. And Martha says, I think the reason the Hyperion Elite 2 is so wide is because it's unisex, unlike the Hyperion Tempos. Oh, that's an interesting idea. I like that. Okay, cool. That makes sense. Mike says, Nike Peg 38 or the Saucony Endorphin Shift? I think for me, that would depend on if you need stability. For me, the Endorphin Shift is a stability shoe. It's very much a stability shoe. They're calling it like mild stability, but I think it's very much a stability shoe. And it's very tall, but not soft. So like, it's kind of a weird ride. I haven't tried the Endorphin Shift 2. They sent it to me a long time ago. I've been procrastinating on it because I don't like to run in stability shoes, but there's definitely like a lot of stability elements to it. So that's how I would decide. If you like stability in your shoes, like a lot of Saucony shoes do have like a hint of stability, or if you've run in other stability shoes before, then I would say try the Shift. I think you might like it, but otherwise the Peg 38 is where I would go. Okay. 76. My emotions need mild stability. Maybe just a hint of stability, just like a little bit. I like that. Special One says, what does stability shoe mean exactly? It can mean a couple of different things. I think we're at a little bit of like a turning point in terms of what that generally means in the running industry. But previously, what it used to mean is that there were some people, when their foot is landing, their ankles would cave in quite a bit immediately, or like inwardly towards like so if these are your 2 feet, instead of your feet hitting the ground like this smoothly, the ankles would roll in. And then usually it's because your feet are kinked out a little bit, like mine kind of are. And so you would roll a lot. And what you would see is a lot of times you could see either wear pattern on the shoe sometimes, or you would see like the back left hand side of the shoe or the back right hand side of the shoe, like back here in the heel, would be really, really compressed. And people thought that, well, with the ankle moving that much with every foot strike, that must be bad for you. And maybe that's why people are getting hurt when they're running more. Or they were thinking, well, maybe that's why that movement is getting compensated for in the knee or the hip, or it could be any number of things. So what they did was, because the foam was compressing too much to this side, they would put stiffer or medial posting on the medial posting, or like stiffer elements on the medial side of the shoe. And so like, when I feel that, when I run, it just feels like I've landed on something harsh. So there's like an impact that for me shoots right up to my knee, and I could feel it after like 2 or 3 miles. So that's what stability means. A lot of people ended up not really liking stability. Stability shoes sold like crazy at first. It was like 5-7 years ago. And like everyone was getting put into stability shoes. Even like 10 years ago when I ran my first marathon, or I guess it's 11 now. I got put into a stability shoe because people were like, ooh, look at those ankles. And so they put me in a stability shoe, and my knees ended up getting pretty jacked up. But it could have been a lot of different things. It's not only the stability shoe. So now the idea is changing a little bit to say like, well, maybe it's not so much, maybe a little bit of pronation is okay. As long as it's not over pronation, fine, but pronation, okay. And so there's different ideas of stability, and now like guide rails is a little bit more common in terms of a way of adding stability to either a neutral shoe or using guide rails plus maybe some stiffer elements right in some of those key areas to help kind of keep everything from collapsing too much. And so that's where guide rails come in. A lot of the Brooks shoes have gone to the guide rail model. And so you will see like, it looks like there's like foam that kind of shoots up real high towards the back. And that can be either alone or in combination with like a big plastic kind of cup. I'll call it a heel cup, or that wraps around the back of the heel that prevents the ankle from like sliding around too much back there. So there's a couple of different ways that shoes can become stability shoes. And the idea being to control undue or incorrect motion that may happen through the foot strike. So that's what stability is. All right. I hope that makes sense. Muad Akab says, hey, Kofuzi, cheers from Morocco. Cool. I think you're the first person I've ever met to come in from Morocco. He says, how many kilometers should I run with the next percent 2 before the marathon? I'd say probably give it at least 5 for your shakeout run, and then maybe do some strides in there too. Make sure if you've never run in the next percent 2 before, I'd recommend try and do one of your last like taper week workouts. You know, maybe you're doing like a couple of real short bursts at maybe threshold pace, or really, really short efforts at marathon pace, something like that. Maybe some strides to make sure you like it, right? And that's something that's going to work for you. But at a minimum, like, you know, at least 5K to make sure that like nothing's going to start rubbing or chafing or hurting you right away. But as far as break-in, you don't got to break it in. You just want to make sure it works for you. Steve says Kofuzi with my over Pronation dancing moves. That's funny. That's funny. Scott says, will you be going to the running event in Boston this January? I didn't know that there was a running event in Boston in January. I mean, going to Boston in January sounds pretty miserable. Like, do I really want to go to Boston in January? I did DM the running event in Austin. That's in December. I don't know if they're the same thing. I didn't know that there was a running event in Boston in January, but there's a running event in Austin, Massachusetts. Does anyone know the reference to that one? Anyway, Austin in December. And I was like, when is there going to be a link for people asking for media credentials? And they finally sent me a link for it. I have to sign up for it though, but I will be going to that one. Andres Orbe says, did you sign on the Metaspeed Sky for the half this weekend as well as the marathon? Good run on the lake today. Hey, Andres, good to see you. I saw Andres out there today. He was in his Vaporfly Next Percents. Looking good out there, getting a little bit of workout in. He said hi, so good to see you. I think that I'm going to go with something else. I don't think I'm going to run in the Metaspeed Sky. I think I'm either going to run in the Rincon or I'm going to run in the Endorphin Speed 2. One of those two shoes. Just to kind of spread the love around a little bit and run in some different shoes. I know what the Metaspeed Sky's, like. I've run a lot of races in them. I've done a lot of workouts in them, so I'm pretty happy with it. I don't think I need to do more testing on it. And Kurt Rierson says, with the Austin, Massachusetts, a nice road trip reference. I feel like not enough. I mean, it wasn't that great a movie. I saw it in college, so I was the right age for it, I think, when it came out. So, I haven't watched it since college, so who knows if it still holds up. But yeah, that movie's 20 years old now. And Angel Snow says, or Angel Snow says, your marathon shoot for Chicago Marathon? Thoughts on the upcoming Hoka One. It's just Hoka now. No more One. No more 1-1 Bondi X. Great questions. Shoot for the Chicago Marathon is going to be the Metaspeed Sky. I think I've decided pretty firmly on that one. And thoughts on the Bondi X? I ran in it today. Andre saw me out there. I did my last kind of like big workout. I mean, I guess Sunday running the half marathon at marathon pace will be the last big workout before the taper. But my last like faster than, marathon pace workout was today. Did my mile repeats workout in the Bondi X. And I don't love it for, I think, to save you guys 15 minutes on Saturday morning or Sunday. I think it'll probably come out Sunday morning. To save you 15 minutes. I think overall, I really like what they're doing with it. I like it much more than the Bondi. But I wish, like, if they can make it feel like that, I'm like, why doesn't the regular Bondi feel like this? The Bondi could be so much better. It makes me feel like now they got to change the Bondi a lot. But I didn't love it at threshold pace. I got the workout done, but I didn't love it. I do really like it, though, for a little bit slower than marathon pace. So, I feel like for your long runs with a couple of pace changes in there, I think it could be, like, a super awesome shoe to run in. Like, there's a sweet spot in pace for that shoe. I don't know that I've found it yet. I think it might be a little bit, it might be, like, at marathon pace, maybe a little bit slower than that. But like once you get to that sweet spot, the shoe just it's like running on an elliptical. It just feels so smooth, feels so good. Picking up the pace a little bit more, it wasn't that it was heavy. It just didn't. I think there's some. It's too Bondi like to be a good like threshold workout shoe. So, yeah. I guess I didn't save you 15 minutes because that was like a 2-minute discussion about it, but I saved you guys some time, maybe. Special one says, are you going to get the Endorphin Pro Plus? Probably not. I don't like if the Endorphin Pro Plus turned that shoe into a marathon super shoe, which the Endorphin Pro isn't for me, then I would pick it up. But I think that what the Endorphin Pro Plus does is make a shoe that I like for half marathons, and for workouts, makes it an even faster shoe, I think. So, yeah. Dr. Funk says, are you going to review the GoPro Hero 10? Oh, yeah, for sure. I don't know when that video is going to come out just because of the timing. But I've been running with it for like the past 3 days now. So I'll have a lot of footage to kind of play around with. I got to get some kind of vlog footage maybe over the weekend. Maybe I'll get on the bike with it a little bit to kind of just round out some of the discussion for the GoPro Hero 10. But so far, I mean, it's like the same. I mean, I haven't really noticed a huge difference from the GoPro Hero 9, except for the fact that now I get 4K. I'm going to have to look at it a lot closer. And right now, my preliminary thought, very early thought, I guess it's not that early, but my early thought at having edited some of the footage now is that I think that at 4K 120, stabilization is better on the Hero 9 when you do 2.7K 120 frames per second. Now I can, I guess to do like the full test, I'd have to set the GoPro Hero 10 to 2.7K at 120 frames per second to then see it. But like, just kind of like my gut is that like 4K 120 is great, but not as great as I hoped it would be so far. But, I'm glad to have the Hero 10. I'm kind of always going to want the latest GoPro, whatever it is. But yeah, more thorough review coming. I'm kind of procrastinating on it, though, a little bit, too, just because those videos do well. But, man, there's some pixel peepers out there and people that are, like, not runners that somehow get fed the video. And they're like, yeah, how come you didn't test it in a situation that does something that I never do? Or maybe I'll even specifically say, like, oh, I don't do X, Y, and Z. And people will be like, how come you didn't test X, Y, Z? I'm like, because I just told you. This is how I use it, and I'm making a video. I can't make a video for how I don't use it. Like, people are mad when I don't test, like, the time lapse. I'm like, I take, like, 5 time lapses a year. So that's kind of like, I'm not looking forward to the comment section. Ted and Ruth says, finally getting back to running after approximately 3 months break. It's good to see you, Ted. Or Ruth. I'm not sure who I'm talking to, actually. Anyway, it was due to using swimming fins. Fins at the bin? Is that why you took a 3-month break? To using swim fins? Oh, okay. Well, good to have you back. Chris Napolitano said, if you had to suggest a 6 to 8 mile run while visiting Chicago, starting anywhere, what would you suggest? I would suggest probably I would start at the Chess Pavilion and then run over the flyover bridge by Navy Pier and then run along the Riverwalk. And then the Riverwalk kind of ends, so then you'd have to you could do an out and back that way. But that way you'd get the shot, my favorite shot of the lakefront going down kind of like the Gold Coast and seeing the Hancock Building. Then you'd get to see it over by Navy Pier, but then you'd also get a nice view of all the skyscrapers, or not all, but a lot of the side skyscrapers. So I think that would give you probably a right around 8 if you went all the way to the end of the Riverwalk, but you could always adjust it. And if you wanted to take a little detour, you could kind of pop up from the Riverwalk, go up a couple levels, and then stop at the Bean too. I think that would probably give you a 3 mile run to there, and then 6 on the way back. So that would be another way to do it too. All right. Adam says, have you talked about Bekele in Berlin this weekend? I haven't. I saw like a hype video from him, which was super cool. Is there anything different? Did he pull out or something? Is he not racing? I thought he was. Yeah, Martin says maybe you should label the GoPro reviews for runners. I do. I'd say like GoPro Hero 10, a runner's review. Like, but people don't like watch carefully. So that's, it comes with it, I guess. I think if the way that I'm trying to like look at that stuff is that okay, the video is doing well enough that GoPro is thinking, maybe some other people might enjoy it too, and so it feeds it to other people, and so you always kind of like want GoPro to feed your videos to new people. So, yeah. But my overall goal when it comes to like videos or responding to comments like that for videos where people are like, how come you didn't test it in the weird use case that I use my GoPro? Like, how come you didn't test it on a dirt bike? And I'm like, because I don't own a dirt bike or know where I could ride a dirt bike even. I try to take it as like, how can I still help this person? So it's an exercise in patience and empathy, I think. Mawad Akab says, what's your, from Morocco, says, what's your goal in CIM? I mean, it'll be informed by quite a bit by how things go for Chicago. Goal for Chicago is somewhere between 310 and 305. I think I'll be closer to 310 than 305. I think 310 would be the B goal. 305 would be an A plus goal. So I think I'll be somewhere in between there. Hopefully, and I guess the 315 would be like the C goal. So depending on where I am in there, that kind of put like where I am for CIM. I mean, like ideally I'd like to take a shot at going sub 3. And I think probably even if I'm not at sub 3 fitness, I'll probably go for it anyway and just, go down spectacularly in flames in a failed attempt, even if that's what's going to happen. But, I'll know a lot more in about 2 weeks. Scotty B says, Kofuzi does a steeplechase and a triathlon in 2021. I got to do dirt bike racing in 2022. I mean, I used to ride a motorcycle quite a bit, so I think it'd be kind of fun to do that. But I was just watching a video on, I think I was watching one of those like Kevin Hart and Snoop Dogg videos from the Olympics when they were they didn't know mountain bike racing was like an Olympic sport, which in their defense, I didn't know that either. But they were watching a clip where like some dudes like just totally ate it. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I could do that sport. Cause it's just like some of the crashes are just look really, really gnarly. Right. Chaparelli 66 says, Heiko, ordered a pair of the Vaporfly X% Gakuso for half price. Ooh. Do you or any other runners out there know if there's any notable differences in them and original? I think that, let's see. I haven't run in the Gakuso X%. I believe Ed Bud did. I think he had them. So I might, hop on his channel because I'm pretty sure he made a video about it and see if he noticed a difference. The midsole and outs are the same, but I think it's one of the things that we've kind of all like a recurring theme for me this year is that like changes in uppers result in changes to the midsole. It just feels a little bit different. The Gakuso X% does have a couple more overlays than the regular X% did. And so like it could affect the performance a little bit, but in terms of like, what's under the hood in terms of on paper specs, it's the same shoe from a midsole and outsole and carbon perspective. Someone said like, you should probably just not review where'd it go? I don't know. Just don't review the GoPro Hero 10. And Matt says, I also got the GoPro Hero 10. I'm not sure if I'll get to it either. Are you going to you're probably going to use it though. So I think if I'm going to use it, I think it's worth a discussion. The video that I like really don't want to make though is like when I have to put all the GoPro cameras on the same rig and then do that exercise is just very, very, very tedious. Yeah, I just don't, I'm not as detail oriented, I think, for that kind of work. I don't know. Ted and Ruth says like, I should do a pole vault. I did pole vault in high school and a little bit in college. And like, I saw it at the Masters track meet that I went to. And I'm like, I don't know. That does look kind of fun. I'd like to get back into that. And now that you can like videotape really easily, I just feel like I would probably like get a lot. I think I'd be able to get back into it really quickly. But the thing is like, I'd have to at that point like connect with like a track club, someone that can like help me with getting track time and also pit time, and like that has poles that I can use, maybe, you know, that kind of thing. So like there's some like obstacles, figuratively speaking, for me to be able to do that. But it's something that like, I wonder if like the Indoors Masters Championship, which is in March in New York, is there a pole vault? That'd be interesting to see. Victor Jacobo says, what do you do for breakfast on marathon race day? I like to have 2 pieces of toast with a nut butter, like almond butter or cashew butter, and strawberry jelly. That's what I usually like to eat. And then I usually also will kind of try to drink a decent amount of water. Sometimes I will bring a banana. I don't like bananas, but I've had good luck eating a banana before a race. So it's like an unfortunate, you know, it's like I treat it like medicine. I guess I'll take it. Andrew Bostic says, sub 25K race tips, go out slower than you think. Whatever speed you're going at to run sub 20, you're going out too fast. So like the way that I see the paces is slower than you think, and then like in the middle, that's where you should be like, ooh, this is work, and that's kind of like right about where you should be. And at the end, you want to catch that sub 20. That's kind of how I like to approach most of my racing. But I think that like trying to like bank time, you can't, there's no banking time, especially not in a 5K. So like go out slower than you think. I mean, the first like 200 meters, you're going to go out fast. So like, don't be too hard on yourself, but after that, settle in, you know? So that's what I do. All right. Win Parksuk says, hey, new here. Welcome. So for tempo/intervals with wide feet, which do you recommend? Rebel version 2, Mach 4, Hyperion. I've enjoyed my Endorphin Speed 1, but we'll be retiring it soon. I think the Rebel 2 comes in a wide, so I would go with that one. The Mach 4, if it comes with a wide, also going to be a really good choice. The Hyperion Tempo, I don't know if it comes in a wide. Let's say all those come in a wide. Then which one do I recommend? That'd be tough. I think I might pick the Rebel if they all come in wide sizes. But if the Hyperion Tempo doesn't, I know the Rebel 2 does. I'm fairly certain the Rebel 2 does. I'm not sure if the Mach 4 does. So it's like I'm in decreasing confidence as your list goes on. But I think I'd probably pick the Rebel for that. All right, let's do a couple more, and then I'm going to get going. My wife took the afternoon off from work, and she wants to go out to have a little bit of a late lunch, a little recovery beverage before we pick up the kids today. So I got to get going. All right. Chaparelli about the Gyakuso. He says, thanks, Ko. And by the way, Vaporfly Gyakuso, 50% off on the Nike site for any Irish and UK runners out there. Oof. That's a pretty great deal. It's a really great deal. Mika says, the Berlin Marathon weekend sales are on Adidas stuff. He says there's green Adios 6s are really tempting at 30% off. Ooh, I've been wanting to pick up a pair of the Adios 6. Do I want to get a Berlin Marathon edition though? I generally avoid those, but at 30% off, I don't know. It's tempting. And Ines Dunbar, you know what, Ines? I haven't played the My Wife sound in a while, so here you go. There you go, my wife. Fun. All right. Let's do this last one. Matthew Cunningham says, hello, Co. Any suggestions on a good watch under 300 pounds? And I don't know what the rest of those letters are. I apologize. So under 300 pounds, there's a lot of room in that. I would say probably, I don't know exactly if these prices are going to be, because I know like the U.S. prices, I'm vaguely familiar with U.S. prices, but I'm not as familiar with like the UK pricing. But I would probably say 2 that I would look at: Garmin Forerunner 245 and the Coros Pace 2. The Pace 2 punches way above its weight class in terms of the features that you get. Really great watch. And Coros does seem to be so far, it's a young company, but so far it seems to be really good about when there's new features that can be delivered to prior products and firmware updates of doing that. So like that's pretty cool. So like those I think would be the 2 watches I would take a look at. All right. I think that's going to be it for today, everybody. Tomorrow's video is going to be about the Atreyu base model version 2. And, I did tell you guys that I did run on the Bondi X. That's going to be on Sunday, so Saturday and Sunday. No live streams either of those days, but Monday, live stream, Monday mukbang. I've got a really fun product that got sent to me that I think that you guys are going to enjoy for the Monday mukbang. So tune in. We'll talk about the Chicago Half Marathon and probably lots more marathon stuff there. So hopefully I will see you guys there. Have a great weekend, everybody, and be safe out there. Thanks.